I personally am very confident. I think playing at regionals has really just shown that all it is ladder. So if I just take it a little bit more seriously than I would ladder, that I'm gonna play just at my top level I can. This is a message to all the Sneaky Snakes fans. The series are gonna be as easy as 1, 2, 3. To my opponents, you think you know our comps, but you don't.
Snakes, they have some tricks up their sleeves, but they're going to be playing against one of the fiercest teams in this entire competition. It's going to be ABC. My name is Rich Campbell. I am going to be your host, and joining me on the desk for all the analysis, we have Zico the Mage King, and to cast this next series, we are going to have both Vihel and Supatees. I'm really excited for this one, guys. I mean, Zico, I'm going to start with you. I mean, this matchup is really interesting because we have one team that could just pull some random comps out of their sleeves, but we have the other team that's really good at shutting down those cute comps.
That's the thing. So on one hand, we have the team that can bring out the random comp, as you mentioned, which is Sneaky Snakes. And actually, I've had a chance to talk a little bit with Amne and the guys behind the stage, and they have definitely some interesting stuff planned out that they were thinking about bringing out. On the other end, we have ABC, one of the last teams with a mage on it. They got Daisy Dukes, a phenomenal mage player. We've seen him time and time again since very long time.
Yeah.
And then they have Kara, which is a BlizzCon finalist. They got Nixie and Asgareth to round out that roster. Very, very experienced team. Came second, nearly beating up Method Triforce in that grand finals of the European regionals. This is their game to lose as far as favoritism is concerned.
As far as favoritism is concerned, for sure. I think when we really do look at the year in a whole, ABC is one of those teams where it really does seem like this could be their year. Having that narrow miss last year, Supatees, I know we actually got to cast that one together. But Sneaky Snakes, on the other hand, I mean, if we were going to base everything off of favorites, they wouldn't be here right now. So they have been able to get that upsets. But turn it back to ABC, Sid. What is it about this team that's made them such a threat throughout this season?
I mean, Alec, he's known as the strategist. He's the one that comes up with the compositions, and usually he focuses on beating the meta rather than becoming the meta. So in this particular matchup, if he knows the other team is playing Red Hunter, rather than playing Thunder as the meta and trying to drag the fight out, they'll go for Rogue Mage instead and try and just all-out counter their opponents. And that kind of strategy and decision and comp choice is the reason why they get so far in these tournaments.
Yeah, they kind of, we've always joked about it. They're one of the most intelligent teams, though, especially when you are going to look at someone like Alec, able to just figure out these weird comps. But Sneaky Snakes, you know, you might not credit them as the smartest team here, but they're definitely the team that runs off the most
shots right there.
I'm not, no flame, no flame. You know, I'm queuing with SSDS all the time on ladder. You're there too. But the thing is that they run off of pure energy.
I don't know if you will anymore.
They are an energy team. Like, just no denying that. They are an energy team, you know? And when we actually do look at the matchup in particular, what is it about the Mage, Vihel, that's going to make it so scary for Sneaky Snakes with some of their hunter-based comps? I'm looking at Cupid Cleave when I'm really thinking about that threat coming in from the Arcane Mage.
If they end up playing that Cupid Cleave, the Arcane is just so hard to lock down, very slippery. You can always push in for Sheeps whenever he wants because of the displacement you have also to just reset, give you another charge of Blink. So you get to the Mage, he's going to blink. You get to him again, he's going to blink. Get to him again, he's going to displace. And he can just keep doing that over and over and over like clockwork, so he'll be a very slippery target.
You know, the most interesting thing about today is we've seen EU versus the rest of the world and NA versus the rest of the world, but this is the first time today where it's NA versus EU, and typically in WoW esports history, that's kind of the focal point is EU versus NA, and we get to decide here now.
We know chat likes to watch these as well. Chat definitely likes to see the NA EU.
We had Panda versus Grumble.
Oh, you're right. You're actually
but this is the second time, though.
And it wasn't Sid casting that one as well?
Yeah, it was.
Long day for Supatees.
It's a long day.
It's been an exciting day for sure. I mean, we definitely got to kick it off with one of the most exciting matches, and we're going to have about 4 more. This and then 3 more after that, and those final 2 are probably going to be the most important matchups of the day because those are actually going to be elimination matches. We will see 2 of those teams go home from BlizzCon, which is always kind of the one that breaks your heart. Those first 2 are definitely going to be the hardest.
Yes.
But I want to peel it back to the Arcane Mage. I saw Zico sitting there at the end of the table. Definitely wanted to say a few things about the Arcane Mage, but we're actually going to put it to the test right now. The game is ready. Zico, you're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. Let's jump in and kick off this blind pick on the Grand Arena.
That is not an Arcane Mage.
Nope.
Just put it out there. That's
is
not an arcane mage anywhere in sight. So
Even I know that.
even Rich Campbell knows there is not an arcane mage in this game.
But look at these comps. Hey, there we go. Now we've had every single healer in this tournament so far. Now that we have Amni on Disc Priest, really well known for playing those discipline setups. And he's the guy on the team that his team was talking about. You know, he really needed to bounce back from a rough start at regionals, so we'll have to see how well he does.
Yeah, and Kara's going to jump into the fight, popping Avenging Wrath very early on. He wants to lead out with this assault towards Cy Foxy. Amni deflects. Archangel popped. Full trap has been landed as Kara is retreating back behind the pillar to escape certain death, healing himself back up. Obviously, the off healing from the Rep Paladin going to prove to be very useful. Pre-Sanctuary onto the Fear there from Kara. Asgaroth breaks out of the crowd control, reconnects, and now Kara and Nixie will move out. Nixie's going to charge after SSDS. SSDS disengaging away. Kara, that Rep Paladin, not going to have the mobility to keep up. Instead, retreating back to the pillar and trying to bait Cy Foxy into his clutches.
All right, Cy Foxy looking for his target. Looks like he's going to be swapping over to Nixie for a little while, and now there we go. He's going to be maiming Asgaroth on that, and now we're going to have the Ascendance. We're going to have the Artifact on use. This is everything going in. Kara down really low, getting extremely low, having to bubble
Divine
right there.
Shield. Yeah, Divine Shield's been proper. Cy Foxy at the same time needs to be careful. Pulls back. Amni making good calls there for him to stay in line of sight. If Cy Foxy goes behind this pillar, he will die, gets life grip back. Amni says, get out of there now. You cannot stay in front of that Rep Paladin shredding machine. Cy Foxy, though, jumps right back into the fight. They got that Divine Shield. They're looking for the kill. Bash, can SSDS snipe the trap from across the field? It doesn't look like he was able to connect it out of the stun, so he's going to have to do it the hard way. Leaps in for Bursting Shot. Now combos it into the full trap. Kara on the run. Cy Foxy going in. Amni needs to try and purge. He mass dispels around the corner. Nice snipe from Amni. Blessing of Protection now removed, but Asgaroth into a mind control. Amni taking this game into his hands. He's not healing though, and SSCS had to turtle. Cy Foxy solos out the Spirit Link. Close calls as both teams go all out.
Yeah, that turtle trade was questionable at that point. Cy Foxy getting pretty low right now, still holding on to his pain suppression. And I know in regionals he had some problems using that pain suppression before targets died, so he really needs to be on the game. Ooh, that was a good fear. Broken out right there by 2 trinkets.
Full trap! SSDS and Cy Foxy are looking to close this out. If they can get any crowd control, Amni right on top, knocks them away. Now Kara at 2%, flash of light, the only thing keeping him alive. Asgaroth can't believe that he's alive. SSDS is getting soloed by Nixie. He's trying to kite away, Nixie on his tail. SSDS managed to survive, but Amni's completely out of mana. They have to find a kill on Kara right now. They have to go in for it. They need to land one more trap. Cy Foxy eating the Hodge behind the pillar. Nice skull bash. They need to land it. Bursting Shot. And will he land the trap? Kara standing. Kara eats the trap, but it's not enough. Another stun to follow it up, and Sneaky Snakes are going to take game number 1. Nixie not giving up though. Amni is out of mana. SSDS has no cooldowns available. If Nixie can stay on target, he's not going to be able to. Amni says, nope, get out of there, SSDS, and he should be able to survive. Asgaroth is trying to purge out. They're still playing it out with a 2v3, but this Warrior does not look like he's going to be connecting anytime soon. They're still trying to play it out though. It's a tournament, you never know. Sometimes teams, when they win, they stand up and they kind of throw the game, so they're just trying to play it out, but at this point it's obvious that they've now fully recovered and it is over.
You just can't count them out. You can't count out the Sneaky Snakes. They are looking incredible here, and the big question that I have on my mind, we talk about just how intelligent of a team ABC is, able to figure out things like counter-comping time and time again, and we've heard it from some of the teams when we actually did get to sit down with them. They bring up the idea of overthinking it. Do you think that in this blind pick, Zico, there may have been just a level of ABC beating themselves with their comp?
That they had planned up. So I'm not really sure what ABC was thinking when they picked this comp, but clearly there's something on Sneaky Snakes that they're scared of. I mean, they didn't want to pick a mage because I guess they thought, okay, they think that Sneaky Snakes is going to be playing that Red Hunter, which is their main comp, right? And therefore, Sneaky Snakes probably think that ABC is going to be playing a mage comp. So that's why Sneaky Snakes locks in the jungle, which is very good into arcane mages. But at the same time, ABC kind of calls the bluff, but this comp didn't look that convincing into jungle. And there's a couple of reasons for that that we're going to be breaking down later in the replays as well.
Let's take a peek at them right now, because when we actually do watch some of these key moments, I think it will become very clear exactly what did happen with these two compositions pairing up against each other.
So this is a very, very key moment right here. We got Asgaroth stunned up into a trap, right? He realizes that Kara is going to have to bubble right here. So he goes ahead and trinkets that trap very, very late right there. Gets immediate bursting shot on his trinket, and that is the bubble force. So Trinket from Shaman is your biggest defensive on the Shaman. Bubble on the Ret is your biggest defensive on the Ret. If those two get used together like that, and you still have a couple of seconds on the Incarnation up as well, then that's when you really know that, okay, ABC is in big trouble. And that was really the story of the game, because right after that, they got another setup, which eventually led to the kill, right? And even though Kara did a beautiful job here at eating up the trap, it just wasn't enough. Amne was dropping his last mana there, trying to do some damage, and finally, they managed to kill off Kara.
Yeah, I think the big thing to note there, though, as much as we do see Sneaky Snakes obviously come out on top, it kind of seemed like that was probably their last go. It didn't seem like they had much gas left in the tank. So if ABC was able to hold on just a little bit longer, they would have been able to take this one. But let's actually talk about the composition that they did bring. They decided to bring that Paladin and the Warrior. Warrior being such a popular pick so far throughout this entire tournament. Why do you think they made that choice?
It's very solid. I think it had a lot of great options against everything that Sneaky Snakes can run. I know that Sneaky Snakes has been talking up like the amount of comps that they can play. You know, we know they have jungle. We know they have a whole bunch of very strong compositions. They always have the Ret Paladin from Avenge and the Demon Hunter if we need, if they need to do so. But now that ABC is down and their chance to counter, I'm actually curious what they're going to do in the next matchup. Like, because this Nagrand Arena match, that was really close from both sides. There was a lot of very tense moments. You know, both teams played very well. You know, SSDS and Cyfoxy did a great job with their crowd control, really securing some kills. So now I'm really curious what ABC is going to run.
Yeah, you talk about, like SSDS in particular, we saw him break out just crazy things to actually qualify here. All of a sudden, he's on his Warrior, and he's able to play that to he plays it pretty well. He manages to qualify on it, but now this is where ABC shines. Ball definitely going to be in their court at this point. You talk about a team that you have Alec, who can counter comp like crazy, so I think he's going to be a huge factor here. So it kind of comes down to what Sneaky Snakes actually lock in. Do you think we see them do that again, Super, or do you think maybe they move to something in the realms of Cupid Cleave?
For their blind pick, I think they're picking jungle every game.
Okay.
I think it's probably their most well-rounded comp.
Yeah, I think that would make a lot of sense too. And Zico, for anyone at home who maybe is just watching for the first time or doesn't have experience with this comp, how exactly does jungle want to be able to close games out?
So jungle likes to win the game with the Feral and the Hunter coordinating their stun and their trap. So the Feral usually goes up to the healer, stuns him up, and then the Hunter he disengages over to that healer, drops a trap, and that is their crowd control. Once they have that crowd control, they look to stun up the kill target. In this case, it was the Ret Paladin, and then they do a whole bunch of damage there and try to get defensives. Then after that, they run, they wait for that stun, for that trap to come back up, try to play defensive in that little downtime there, and then they do the same thing. Rinse and repeat.
It's a very go-based comp.
You're
looking to create those windows for huge damage where it's not going to be able to answer with anything but a cooldown. And when the cooldowns are all out, that's when you actually find your win. And we're going to see Sneaky Snakes try to do that again, try to get this second game here, but it is on ABC to counter this composition. And the main question here is, do we see Alec on his mage? I think Arcane would be an incredible pick here. We've already alluded to the fact, and I said before we jumped into the first game, Zico, I got to give you a little bit of a chance to talk about it. What is so strong about the Arcane mage against a composition like this?
So most classes right now in World of Warcraft, their biggest damage is kind of tied to popping a cooldown, but with Arcane Mage, it's more tied to procs, so you can just kind of randomly delete people as an Arcane Mage. If you can cast, then you can delete people. And we are going to see the Fire Mage as a rogue Holy Paladin come out of ABC, which is what I was going to touch on as well. Arcane is actually not the best thing to pick into a Feral Druid because Arcane is really good against melees that don't have ranged kicks and that need to have uptime to do something. Feral can just kind of bleed you, and then whenever he connects, you're still taking damage when he's not, right? So Fire Mage, however, is very good at surviving because they have damage reduction and they have a lot of instant damage to work with. So Fire Mage, very intelligent pick here. Together with that Asa Rogue as well, is going to make it very, very difficult for Cyfoxy, most likely.
The last rogue mage getting ready to take their stand, Supatees. And this composition obviously has a lot of BlizzCon history. Do you think Alec's going to be the team to do it?
I don't know why they picked Runes of Lordaeron. This is the map like a hunter wants to be on, and you're a mage in the middle of the map for most of the game against a hunter.
So it's
I wonder
it's
if it
funny.
was a Feign map pick.
I think it's a takeaway.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think it's a really good map for Sneaky Snakes. So if they play their counter on Ruins, they they feel confident that we're playing the counter, so
Oh,
regardless
get
of
the
the
map out
map,
of
we're
the
gonna
way.
win,
Yep.
and then we
Exactly.
get the map
Yeah.
out of the way when
That's
it's their
risky,
turn.
though.
But
That
it's
is a
also
that is a
an
risky game,
important
yeah,
strategy
absolutely.
that we haven't seen very often when we sit down and we actually get a chance when we are at BlizzCon. We get the pleasure of sitting down with all the teams. We're all actually in the same place for the first time during the year. We get to actually talk to them about what they're thinking about. And the Australian team was really one of the only teams that was thinking about maps, thinking about when they wanted to play certain maps. So it is awesome here to actually see a little bit of the mind games coming in with maps. Now, Subatees, you already started to say this is a map that is going to be super favored for Sneaky Snakes.
It's a composition we haven't seen played in a while. The Assassination Fire Mage Holy Paladin. It's a ton of single target pressure and a lot of crowd control for the healer. So Amni needs to be really MVP with his premonitions. If he's not premonitioning the polymorphs coming in and he's getting crowd controlled for maybe 30 plus seconds at a time, your Feral Druid's not going to live. So I think it's a smart comp pick by ABC, but SSDS could probably carry on this map. So if Amni can avoid CC and SSD pumps out damage, it's definitely still anyone's game.
I actually want to see the Sneaky Snakes tunnel Asgarath. I think that's their best
Yeah,
win
that's a
condition
good
for
strat
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to see which strategy they do go with. We already heard from Sneaky Snakes. Logan throwing a couple shots, knew that this was a matchup they were going to be playing. Let's see if they're prepared or if ABC can bring it in with the counter.
And Asgaroth is going to be playing Blessed Hands as his tier 6 honor talent choice instead of that Avenging Crusader. Of course, the entire team, minus Asgaroth, is going to be start off in stealth as Nixie looking for his target.
I want to see Sneaky Snakes tunnel the Paladin, as Zico suggested. He doesn't have many defensives that can't be purged or master spelled. Looks like Nixie's going to start the fight. Full blind onto Amni, leading the assault towards SSDS, but he feigned death the beginning pressure. Amni's going to trinket out of Polymorph. He sat the blind, but now going through a kidney shot. SSDS could be in trouble. He's looking for crowd control of his own. Looks like they're targeting down the rogue Nixie. Not normally the primary target. He already traded out Evasion, though, and he could be an opening target now for Incarnation. They need to stay alive a little bit longer. Now with Vendetta popped, SSDS could be in trouble. Amni choosing not to use Paint Suppression, uses Barrier instead. The shield should reduce the damage enough for SSDS to survive. Asgaroth is blown through his Avenging Wrath. One more crowd control chain onto him, and Nixie could be in trouble.
Yep, and SSDS down to half, and there we go. The Pain Suppression is forced out right before the bubble. So that was an interesting trade right there. Definitely necessary, though. Alex is using that combustion, pumping out some damage. So SSDS getting extremely low, needing to turtle there. I really like the Blinding Light pick now that I've been seeing it more and more in this tournament.
All right, well, Amni has no defensive cooldowns, neither does SSDS, and really it's against the wall right now for SSDS to be able to stay alive. Nixie and Alec are doing so much damage. They're trying to pull something off with a stun, double fear onto the DPS, and they are going after the Holy Paladin, Asgaroth. Yep. They realize Divine Shield is his last line of defense. They can mass dispel that and get through it that way if they can build up the damage. SSDS getting gripped back to the pillar, though. Amni doesn't want to throw the match. Could be a close call here. Cyfoxy is trying to solo Asgaroth. Will Nixie or Cyfoxy be able to find the damage? He gets the Divine Shield by himself. Mass dispel. They can now look for the kill. Asgaroth has nothing to protect himself. Down at half. Full trap onto Nixie. Not being dispelled. Full stun on Asgaroth. Interrupt onto Alec. Triple crowd control for Sneaky Snakes. And they're looking to pull this game around. Asgaroth down at half HP. Amni into a polymorph, but they need to polymorph the DPS. Asgaroth's the one in trouble. Ring of Frost trinket instantly. Cyfoxy goes for the kill. And Sneaky Snakes pull it back. In the meantime, though, Amni's still polymorphed. SSDS into the kidney shots. Vendetta is ticking. Tons of damage. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to play that out to the finish, but either way, does look like Sneaky Snakes are going to take game number 2.
With the counter potential for ABC, this is absolutely insane to see Sneaky Snakes coming out in full force so early here, especially with this composition. If they can continue to play this composition, they are going to be in their comfort zone.
I just gotta say, Sneaky Snakes are such an intelligent team. You know what they did this game that really made the pressure just shift like that in 1 second? They went on Nixie, right? And we were kind of like, well, they should tunnel the Paladin. But what they did was they trapped up Asgaroth, they forced out the evasion. Then they did it one more time. Asgaroth trinketed, and they didn't stun him to get the trap. So once Asgaroth actually had used his trinket and he was still able to be stunned, we saw them go onto Asgaroth. And that's when the Feral just sat on top of Asgaroth and didn't use his kick. He didn't use his kick. He knows he has no wings, he has no trinket. This is a bubble if I don't miss my kick. He held it, he held it, he held it, and then Asgaroth just said, okay, well, I'm gonna fall too much behind, so I got a bubble here, and then he goes on, bubbles, and then we saw
instant mass dispel, yeah.
Instant mass dispel,
really
the pressure
fast.
started ramping up, and yeah.
This is going to be huge as well, because now they kind of have that chance when they go into the third game to play their comfort composition again. Sneaky Snakes obviously winning this one, but after that, if they go to a place where they do need to potentially counter, if they do go down a game, they may have a trick up their sleeve. And only need to pick up one win now
Right.
with that tricky composition. Like, it's no surprise that they are going to break out something weird. Like, they have already alluded to it countless times. So we might not even see it here, which would be great for them. They'd be able to hide that information. But ABC might be able to rally here. I feel like that composition majority of the time should be able to come out on top. The question is, though, when we jump back in on this next one, do you think we will see them playing Rogue Mage again?
I don't know. It looked okay. They definitely forced out every defensive cooldown out of Amni right from the start. But again, the Holy Paladin was a great target. You know, you can exactly what Zico was saying. The Feral can pretty much force the defenses by himself, and that's really, really important. Because your hunter has to be, he was kiting the whole time. Amni was in trouble. He was falling behind in terms of defensive cooldowns for his team. So it kind of worked. It was a really bad map for it.
Exactly.
But I don't know. Maybe next map, as long as they're not on Runes of Lordaeron, which they won't be, maybe we'll see them break it out again.
Yeah, that was the first thing I was going to say. So obviously, once a map is used here in this tournament, much like every other tournament that we have done so far this year, it is going to be removed from the pool. Let's take a peek, though, at everything that went down on Ruins of Lordaeron before we jump into the next one.
So right here, Asgraf has already used his trinket on the trap. As you can see in the top left corner, we see Foxy. You see how Asgraf just keep casting flashes of light right there. Foxy not falling for the bet. He's just holding his kick forever. Asgraf realizes he's going to bubble, and then he won't be able to top himself because he doesn't have any big heals anymore because his wings is on cooldown, which you can also see in the top left corner. And then he bubbles, gets master spelled, and then here Foxy manages to sink his teeth in. There's a full stun, no trinket, no blessing of protection available to him, and now SSDS also managing to connect. And this trap on Nixie here is very, very good because Nixie obviously wants to kidney shot Foxy to prevent all of this from happening. So great job by SSDS, and then just the sheer amount of pressure here manages to secure the kill right there. And all of this is also a problem because they pick a Holy Paladin comp. And the reason why they do that is because, well, from talking to ABC, they feel like Asgraf's Discipline Priest is his worst healer. And Resto Druid into the Feral Druid matchup is not that good either.
Yeah.
So they kind of forced into a corner right here with the jungle.
Well, yeah, you always do want to somewhat be playing into your comfort. Like, you want to play for comp, but playing for comfort, if you can try to do both, is definitely going to be strong. But let's take a look back at the map. We are going to see now Ashmane's Fall is going to be the selection here from ABC because they lost that last match. They are going to pick the map first. Sneaky Snakes responds by picking their composition. No surprise there. They're going to stick with what is working. But now ABC, with all of that information, will pick their composition. But what do we think about Ashmane's Fall? Lordaeron was definitely kind of a fluky pick. Supatees, it seemed like they were just trying to get that out of the pool. How does Ashmane's fare for them?
I mean, I think with Ruins, they were expecting to target the Feral and hope that he couldn't run away out of line of sight, but then they didn't go on the Feral, they went on the Hunter. So I don't think they really thought that one out, whereas Sneaky Snakes had a game plan. Attack the Rogue, get his trinket, then as soon as the Paladin uses the sack, switch targets. Alright, so Kara's going to be breaking out his Hunter, going into a Hunter showdown for Ashmane's Fall. Thug Cleave versus Jungle Cleave, and this is not something I was expecting to see at the BlizzCon finals with how many Elemental Shamans and melee Cleaves there have been. This is going to be a Hunter showdown.
We haven't seen Thug in a long time. This was something that ABC was playing quite a bit, but this goes back to the question for me, are they just outplaying themselves? It's kind of one of those positions where you might just be playing yourself by trying to break out all these different compositions and figure something out.
So what I like is that Thug theoretically is a big counter towards jungle. So it's a good matchup for them. What I don't like is that they could have had a really good matchup if they picked a Discipline Priest, because the Discipline Priest is not susceptible to being tunneled like that, like a Holy Paladin is. You don't have a bubble to mass the spell and things like that. So I would have much rather, if Asgraf is going to be playing his Priest, I would rather have seen that in the previous game, because Fire sub RMP is very, very good into jungle. And this particular matchup, I think this is also a good matchup, but it just comes down to how comfortable is Kara on his Hunter, how comfortable is Asgraf on his Priest.
Well, so it has been a while since we've seen it, but Super, when we did actually see them break this composition out on the actual road to BlizzCon, now we are going to be live here from California. What did you think of them playing this composition? It wasn't the one that we knew them for, but we saw them play it quite a lot here.
The last time they played it was in the Cup stages when Moonkins were kind of the meta patch, and they played Survival and Subtlety together to kind of crush through the Moonkins armor. This version of it with Marksmanship Hunter, I think, is going to be a lot different. I'm wondering how Foxy chooses to play the matchup out, because I feel like they actually gave a good map to the enemy team again. Yeah. It's a really big map for Foxy if he feels like he doesn't have defensives to run away. So maybe, I don't know if the map selection has been the best for ABC overall. I think the comp is good.
But yeah. Let's jump in and see how this one actually does play out. We can predict until we're blue in the face, but we are ready. This is potentially the last game that we will see in the series. Sneaky Snakes trying to close this one out for NA. ABC trying to get back in it.
All right, Ashamane's Fall match point for Sneaky Snakes as they look to 3-0 the second seed from Europe, the fourth seed for North America. As the gates begin to open, it's going to be very important for Kara to be ready. It's his first time on the tournament stage on Hunter, whereas SSDS, he's been playing Hunter all year long.
He has, so this will be a big showdown. We'll have to see if Kara and Nixie can score a kill. That crowd control on the Disc Priest is going to be really important. Amni is just waiting for the opener, trying to get some shields out for that first initial burst, and there we go. We're going to have an opener, the kidney, and with the cheap shot onto SSDS, lots of initial damage, just going completely out, and that does force the pain suppression already.
Yeah, pain suppression I think was a fair trade. Now a Wyvern Sting landed on Askaroth as SDS and Cyfox, they look to turn the pressure around towards Kara. Trap landed, pain suppression now has been forced on the opposite side. Full fear secured from Amni. Life gripping Cyfox away from the stun. Kara getting 1v1 by SSDS here. Kara's forced to retreat back behind the pillar. Nixie's trying to peel Cyfoxy away, but Cyfoxy is not giving up the chase. Going right behind that pillar on Kara. They're going to bursting shot Cyfoxy away. They do not want him. They want to go after SSDS, but SSDS is in too good of a defensive position at the moment. Nixie getting knocked away. Nixie's getting ready to start the next attack. He wants to start with a kidney shot onto Amni and then a cheap shot onto SSDS, and he's bouncing between both of them. They need to spread out, so Nixie needs to use Shadow Steps to commit both those crowd controls. This is good spread right now. Amni's very far away from SSDS, and they need to keep this distance for as long as possible. Nixie's running over. He wants to start the chain. Full kidney shot. The Wyvern Sting on Cyfoxy. Good cross crowd control from Kara. It's a 3-on-1. SSDS getting bursted down. Will he be able to survive the stun lock? Aspect of the Turtle has now been traded out. Clean setup for ABC.
Yeah, that's really great job by Kara right there, you know, putting that crowd control onto Amni and forcing both.
Kara now just get crushed.
Oh yeah,
I don't even know what just happened. He just got mauled down, and now his aspect of the Turtle is out of the way. This is a completely even game. Amni though with Trinket, I guess they do have the lead. Amni has the lead in this position. One more attempt set up from Sneaky Snakes could be the life of Kara. Kara knows that. He's right behind that box. Now trying to move out. This could be the end of the match. He's disengaging in. He's going for the kill. Nixie gets bursting shot away. Kara's trying to land the trap. Snipes in the trap. Now SSDS could be in trouble if he doesn't land a trap of his own, but he's caught into the stun lock. He's not able to. Amni caught into the fear. Smoke bomb gets dropped. Cheap shot. Cheap shot. Cheap shot. Gonna find the kill. Now putting a point on that scoreboard. ABC 1-2. But can they play Thug Cleave every time? I feel like Rhett Hunter is gonna just run over that.
Yeah, I mean, EU has held on for now, but that is a very good point indeed. I will say this was one of the most dangerous matchups to be playing against Sneaky Snakes because they are a total momentum team. I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but when they are running on hot, they are just, they're absolute freaks and scary to play against. So this was a big pickup here from ABC. Now they will take away some of that momentum and also put a point up onto the board. But Zico, what were the big things that you noticed when we actually did watch that third game? What allowed ABC to win?
I think it was some misusage of cooldowns in the beginning from Sneaky Snakes. They did a very, very early pain suppression onto the Hunter, and then Amne managed to avoid getting blinded. And later on, he had his trinket, but the real key thing was actually during the kill. As Amne trinketed, because he hesitated a little bit, he got feared on his trinket, and that led to the kill, basically, because then the smoke bomb as well to close that out. So. Really good plays from Amni early on, but then later on he kind of faltered a little bit. And those are the smallest decisions, like the smallest timing can make or break the game there.
That's the thing with these compositions. We see that a lot with Hunter compositions in general. It all comes down to those small moments. If you slip up for even a millisecond, you're potentially going to be going home. But now we are going to see a very close series here. All of a sudden, we have that one point on the board for ABC. We've already seen one reverse sweep earlier in the day, so we do know that it is possible. Do you think, though, that we might actually get to see Sneaky Snakes break out their biggest composition, Supatis?
I think if they lock in the Rogue Hunter, that for sure we're going to see Evangeline step in on his Retribution Paladin, and I think we got a repay here for you, Zico.
Yeah, so right here, Amne gets kidneyed into a trap. Immediate pain suppression on SSDS, which means that Cyfox is actually also a viable kill target here. Usually, you tend to see the DPS use his cooldowns there, so Amne won't have the pain suppression available for later. And then here is a very, very big thing happening. Out of the blind, there is a gap right there, and as you can see there on your screen, Amne actually Shadow Ward deaths the blind right there, which means that he saves his trinket for later on in the game. And then now the pressure was, switching. And then here's the key moment in the game. We got Amnic caught into that kidney shot, into that trap. Now he should instantly trinket this trap. He waits a little bit. Asgraf actually trinkets that stun, and then he chases up Amne after Amne trinkets, manages to get a fear onto Amne, and then there's the smoke bomb as well, just as an overkill from Nixie. And if Amne would have trinketed that fear, he would have been able to gather some distance before Asgraf feared him, and then SSDS all of a sudden wouldn't have been in trouble. And also SSDS weren't able to use some of his defensives too. So
so now that you've actually gotten a chance to see that Thug play out, we already know that Dalaran Sewers is going to be the map pick coming in for this 4th game here, potentially the last one. But you've seen the Thug play out, but Zico, what is it about seeing potentially that Cupid cleave that could actually beat composition that ABC just played?
Well, I think Cupid Cleave is really, really good because you can kind of stay back. You have a lot more ways to deal with these setups because, as we mentioned earlier, Thug is just one of those comps that you want to get a kidney shot into a trap and then you see someone getting bursted, in this case SSDS. But with a Ret Paladin on your team, you have Blessing of Protection to remove that kidney shot. You have Blessing of Sanctuary as well to remove that kidney shot. And every time the kidney shot gets removed, so does the trap, because he has to be standing still to be trapped in the first place. So that is the biggest thing. And then also Evangeline being able to dish out so much cleave damage makes them be able to win on mana as well if ABC plays defensive.
You talk about Evangeline. Last year, I actually predicted that he was just going to win BlizzCon because I thought the Paladins were going to be particularly strong, and this guy is just the best Retribution Paladin in the world, in my opinion. I do not think that there is competition when you actually do see him paired up with Hunter. Just absolutely insane. If they get to play this composition here, they are going to be a huge threat. One of the all-star teams in my book for NA. But looking at ABC, they have decided to play this Thug again, and I think that that is the right choice. You know,
Oh, there he is.
That's what we
There it
thought.
is.
Yep.
So
What
Yeah.
was that?
That was, I think I actually made a Moonkin sound. I've been hanging out with you too much, Supa. But I think that this is a big thing for Sneaky Snakes with ABC with their backs against the wall. How is Dalaran Sewers going to play into the mix, Sid?
Well, he's a Ret Paladin. Dalaran Sewers is really small. Guess what happens when you go into a small space with a Ret Paladin?
Barely even need to giddy up. Yeah, you just get to cleave. You just get to cleave. So VHL in this particular matchup, how can we've already said that, you know, composition favor, we're kind of giving it to Sneaky Snakes here, but what can ABC do to kind of break up the rhythm? I mean, you look at Nixie.
I think it's just the textbook stuff they were doing last match. They just need to capitalize on it. It needs to be fast. They need to possibly rush the Ret Paladin down, get his bubble, get it MD'd, and kill him. It just, everything has to click. I think this cleave damage is just going to it's really tough because it's going to be really hard to dive on traps because you're going to be getting cleaved constantly by not only the Hunter but the Ret Paladin also. So this is an uphill battle for them.
The question that I have is there any world where you can almost try to hedge your bet a little bit if you're playing the Thug Cleave and say, okay, maybe we just out-cleave them a little bit, maybe actually play like a Fan of Knives spec on the Rogue and then go for something like Sidewinders, or is the Cleave just always going to be superior?
the Ret is always going to be won.
It's just like...
the long game is always going to be won by the Ret as well, and the biggest thing ABC can do to win this match is to cover the Ret. You need to mind control the Ret in the beginning to get his Ashbringer to proc, which is an extra trinket basically. And then after you've done that, you can stun up the Ret and stun up the Priest at the exact same time. That's what you gotta do. Nixie's gotta be on point, because if he stuns the Priest and then stuns the Ret, Evangeline gets a split second where he can dispel that stun on the Priest, and then the Priest will avoid the trap, and the stun on the Ret won't matter that much. I think ABC has to kill the Ret Paladin, and they have to be very offensive. The Askaraf is gonna have to show a lot of confidence as well, pushing in if Sneaky Snakes are stacking behind the pillar, and try to get some fears as well.
I really don't think many people would have expected the match to go down this way, though, especially with ABC finding them in this position where they may actually drop their first series. And with the history that they do have, it would be quite heartbreaking if they do go down. But this is kind of an underdog story coming out here for the Sneaky Snakes.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't do predictions going into this match, but I would say that, you know, looking at it on paper, I would expect both of these teams to do very, very well in this matchup. Like a 3-2, you know, kind of situation.
Yeah, I think Zico said 3-1 when we were backstage as well.
Yeah.
So that prediction could still be right here. 3-2 could be right as well. Sid, before you actually sat down and got to watch this matchup, were you kind of leaning towards one side?
I don't know. I'm not on the arcane bandwagon as much as Zico is. I think like hunters and elemental shamans can like burst them down equally as hard. And because SSDS is a hunter, I felt like they would have stand an okay chance even if Alec decides to go for arcane. And I think there must be a reason that he's not.
But there's
I just got to correct you there for a second. I'm actually driving the bandwagon of Arcane,
Oh,
so
okay.
just for future reference.
actually Lore was playing Arcane Mage before you, I think. Lore may be driving the bandwagon. He's probably smiling backstage right now, but we may have to give that one to Josh. We may have to. I'm not going to take it away from you, though. One of the mage
We already
kings,
gave him the hair.
One of the mage kings. Yeah, right.
You made me shave.
Yeah, you're growing yours out now, too.
I'm working on it.
Maybe you're just copying Lore left and right. But so one of the big things, though, with Rogue Mage, all jokes aside, that composition, regardless of specs, a lot of the players just saying that is the thing that can cut down some of these cute compositions. Let's see if they are going to be able to cut down the Sneaky Snakes, though, because they are primed to win this one. Just one game away from victory. Casters, take it away.
Yep, definitely going to be, I think, one-sided for Sneaky Snakes to win this. They're definitely favored, but it's not 100%. If Kara, Nixie, and Asgaroth can make some outplays, death some traps, break up their crowd control chains, and stay on top of Avenge, Rep Paladin is squishy. They can definitely burst him down. They have Mass Dispel to remove Divine Shield. They also can dispel off the Blessing of Protection. So ABC has the arsenal to find a kill. I'd say it's probably maybe a 70-30, 70% in favor of Sneaky Snakes, 30% ABC. But here we go, match point. Can NA take down EU?
Now, Evangeline is going to be playing Crusade as his level 100 talent, so he's going to have very, very punchy wings. It's going to take a second to get going because it does ramp up, but that pairs very well with that Hammer of Reckoning talent too.
Oh, nice! He sanctuaried the kidney and death the trap instantly out of it. Good play there from Sneaky Snakes. That's going to get them a massive lead. Kara down at half. Bursting shot on Asgaroth. If SSDS can snipe in that trap, full trap is landed, forces the trinket. Massive lead here for Sneaky Snakes.
Oh, it is. This is not looking good for ABC right now as they started to fall behind. Nixie is using his cooldowns very quickly. 2 charges of Shadow Dance already spent plus his Shadow Blades.
Nice Wyvern Sting there from Kara onto Avenge. There's no way to dispel for him. That CC'd most of his Avenging, or his Crusade, so he's just kiting Avenge. Really good positioning for Kara right now to avoid the end of that Crusade. That's when the Rep Paladin does the most damage, and Kara's a Rep Paladin main, so obviously he would know that, so really good adaptation there. Kara just kiting around the map. He knows that they lost the initial exchange. They need to stay alive. Smoke Bomb to punish the early trinket. Avenge trinkets out of that, though. He's playing human. Double bursting shot. Needs to land a trap. Full trap is landed. Paint Suppression, I feel like, should almost just be used offensively. Maybe he doesn't need it. There's just no damage. Nixie and Kara not doing enough damage. Now out of the trap, Amni decides to use Paint Suppression. I feel like it might have been too greedy.
There,
Sanctuary. Full fear, though, onto Asgaroth. Kara, very low. Avenge got knocked away. Life grips him back. Great teamwork from Amni and Avenge. Kara down half looking for a defensive Wyvern Sting onto Avenge to just stay alive. SSDS now getting pounded. Will Nixie be able to take him out? Penance is flying in to stabilize. Asgaroth's Paint Suppression has been blown. Full stun has landed. Blessing of Protection or Turtle overlap. Definitely a panic attack there for SSDS, but he secures the trap. They need the damage now onto Kara, but Avenge gets peeled away by Nixie. Still anyone's game at this point. Did he death? I think he premonitioned that trap again on Amni. He got out of another trap. Critical moment here to stay aggressive.
Yeah, as Kara's trying to get away from this Rep Paladin the entire game. He does have his Crusade back up right now as Kara's going for some more damage. They're definitely choosing to go into SSDS and avoid Evangeline as much as they can. Now that they've forced Turtle and that Bop, it seems like SSDS could fall another, but this crowd control onto Asgaroth is just flawless.
Yeah, there's nothing left for SSDS to stay alive. He needs to be careful, but he goes for the kill instead. Full trap has been landed. Kara is very low. Surely Aspect of the Turtle gets traded out here. That will keep Kara alive. Now Evangeline is trying to drive the bus to victory as he marches towards Kara. Kara's trying to kite. He goes for the bursting shot, lands a trap of his own. Now SSDS needs to be careful. I'd like to see him just jump off the side, feign death, avoid it. His healer's going to get feared out of the trap. Asgaroth in position. Full kidney shot. Avenge choosing. No Sanctuary available. No Sanctuary. SSDS kiting Nixie. Now SSDS trying to do what Kara was doing earlier, but Kara is still getting tunneled down. Avenge bubbles out of crowd control. They need to go all in for the kill at this point. Everybody has blown every cooldown. This game is going to end at any moment. They're going to stabilize for a couple of seconds, but after that, Kara will be in danger. SSDS will be in danger, and now even Avenge opening himself up. Amni trinkets the blind. SSDS disengages over to land the trap, snipes the full trap. Now Amni gets sanctuaried out of the kidney shot to go for a fear. Double fear has been landed. Avenge needs to get to his target. He doesn't have a freedom. Avenge is just waddling in that Rep Paladin wheelchair trying to get over there. Kara's kiting him so good this match. He's down at half. Avenge just can't get there, and Kara's going to stay alive.
All right, Asgarath is keeping him alive. I really like this kiting by Kara. You know, like you said before, he's a Ret Paladin main. He knows how to deal with Ret Paladins. You see him trying to get away as much as he can. I love the peels from Nixie also onto Avenge. Sitting in that kidney shot, or the cheap shot right now, forces the bubble down. So Asgarath again, full trap.
Full trap.
Just keep happening over and over and over.
Shadow Blades for Nixie. He's going after SSDS, but he's got Aspect of the Turtle again. This is looking good for Sneaky Snakes, as Kara is going to be isolated on the next crowd control chain. Amni moves in, lands the Fear. I don't think there's any follow-up, though, and the DR Fear is not going to be enough to find a kill. Asgarath moves back up. Life grips Avenge back up to the top, trying to buy some breathing room, maybe?
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a little bit strange, but the wings are up for Avenge. He's trying to get some damage pumping. Kara still kiting for his life. DR Bursting Shot. These DRs are getting messed up by Sneaky Snakes. They're kind of throwing the match now as a result. Avenge is not able to heal himself. He's trying to line of sight Kara. Amni now out of crowd control. They need to calm down. They're getting too ahead of themselves. That was a DR Fear into a 1-second bursting shot. They need clean crowd control because they had the win with that, and now they're an open target with no bubble, and if Avenge overextends, it could be trouble. At the moment, we see Wyvern Sting on Asgarath. Kara is just kiting like a legend. It's almost like he's played Hunter his entire life. He's in the best position at all times, but a full Fear has been landed. Anything could knock Kara over. SSDS moves in, gets bursting shot away. Kara trying to escape. Nixie peels Avenge away. Good teamwork. Now a life grip saves Kara once again as both these teams continue to battle it out.
Yeah, there was a Black Arrow pet that actually ate a trap during that onslaught. I'm not sure which pet it was. Nixie is going to try to find his target. Looks like he's just going to crowd control Amni at that point. Does get sanctuaried out of it by Evangeline. They're going to go into Evangeline again. A minute 30 on his bubble. They need to make something happen if they want to win.
Oh, that's a ton of damage going towards Avenge. Amni is getting interrupted. Blessing of Protection has been used to try and save life. Purged it off. Avenge is going to go down. Amni got step kicked. Avenge is barely staying alive. Kara's moving over to land the trap. Can Amni premonition the trap? Avenge is standing on top of him as well. Kara wants this. Goes for the double bursting. Needs to land this trap. He gets the trap sniped out. Avenge is line of sighting Nixie. If Nixie gets to Avenge, surely he's going to go down. If he has a stun, there's the cheap shot. He saps Amni out of the trap. They look for the Fear as well. SSCS feared away. Avenge in a 3v1, kiting to stay alive. Now looking to reverse the pressure. Kara has Aspect of the Turtle, but Kara's in a great position this entire game, just kiting away. Avenge can't chase him. Avenge is forced to come back. Sanctuary's the kidney shot right before he got stunned. Critical moment. Barrier will save him now. Trap landed on Asgarath. Nixie is dipping low. They could swap to him. He's going to get away from that Ret Paladin bandsaw. Does not want to get cleaved down. Good defensive Wyvern Sting from Kara. Sick play from Kara, really, to keep his team alive this long. Sneaky Snakes, they need to find a way to penetrate through, but it's not looking good for them now.
There was a blind trinket right there.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was his trinket. Yep. As SSDS is going to LOS just a little bit. Kara lands a full trap onto Amni, going for some more damage onto Kara.
Oh no, Avenge. Oh, triple bursting from SSDS, looking for the peel carry, trying to keep Evangeline going, but Kara's just on the other side of the map the whole game. SSDS has to solo him. Nice knockback as well. Avenge is not able to reconnect. Amni into the kidney shot. A full Fear to follow it up, and Avenge is going to go down. ABC tied this series 2-2.
Wow. ABC is back in this 2-2. Sneaky Snakes now have the ball in their court, though, as far as the composition pick is going to go, but ABC already showed that they can come back from just about anything.
I was really impressed by Kara's Hunter play there. He was doing everything right. I mean, it was almost, you look at the difference between SSDS and Kara in that match, and it was hard to tell which Hunter has been playing Hunter forever at that point. They were both really good.
Yeah, I think that is true.
Oh,
as well.
now it's 2-2.
That's going to be that's one of the Hunters too that we actually did see quite a bit from. We saw Kara actually locking in that Hunter on the road to BlizzCon. We already mentioned that it has changed quite a bit, but what actually went down in the series? We were saying that they were not favored, and still ABC able to come out on top.
So two main things made this game the way it looked for me, and number one, which is what you guys touched on, which is Kara's kiting. It was phenomenal. When you see people kite as a hunter, usually they run around on Dalaran in the middle part between those two boxes, right? But Kara was using the bottom portion of the map, running around in a big circle like this, and that gave him so much more distance from between him and the Ret Paladin, and he realizes it's more important to avoid the Ret's damage and outrange him than to avoid the Hunter's damage and line of sight him, because then the Ret actually gets uptime, and that is the big thing. The other biggest thing is just Nixie Rogue is just so good.
Oh yeah, Nixie Rogue is absolutely incredible, and we're going to see all those things that Zico just mentioned right now, and we can actually dive in and pick them apart play by play.
So here we got the opener. Amni gets kidney shot, then we got a stun onto Avenge. He trinkets, Sanks, Amni, Shadow Word defs that trap. very, very textbook plays here. That's what we were talking about earlier. You have to force those retribution pile trinkets to actually be able to kill him later. And then what the ABC did that was so smart was that they went on SSDS and forced Avenge to bubble to actually save SSDS later on in the match. And that is really the big story here that gave them a win condition when things were looking so dire. And then once again, we see Kara just running down the stairs, running around. On here, when he's forced to run across SSDS, he drops a nice bursting shot there. Then Asgraf pokes up, grips him, and then now he's downstairs again, and he's going to be running his laps on the bottom side of the map once again. And just this kiting is so key. And then here we see another trap onto Asgraf, and Avenge gets knocked away. And then here, this is the moments that lead to the kill. And look at the bubble cooldown. 12 seconds left from the moment where he bubbled to save his hunter. So they had 10 seconds left on that clock before Avenge is no longer a viable kill option.
Yeah. And one of the things I heard, he kind of said that Sneaky Snakes somewhat of a momentum team. Now the momentum's completely knocked out of them. They've kind of had the wind knocked out of their lungs. So we're going to have to see if they can regain mentally here as well, especially after they just lost on their main composition.
Yeah, I think it's definitely 70-30, and they played to a level where they could get that 30% chance, and eventually they found the openings, right? If they saw going after the Hunter, eventually uses Divine Shield to protect the Hunter who had nothing. He opened himself up as a target. I think Asgraf must have been purging the freedoms off, like on CD, for him to not be able to reconnect that much.
And also the fact that when they would go on the ret with a kidney shot on the priest and he would dispel it, they realized, okay, we're not going to get much done on the ret. So they would save the stun DR on SSDS, and then they would try to get something later on Amnet and still use that DR to create some pressure on SSDS. That switching between the rat and the hunter is what made Nixie play so that I really got impressed from that. And just one more thing I wanted to touch on was the fact that Amne is playing Dome of Light, which puts his barrier on a 2-minute CD and makes it reduce the damage it does by 70%. However, you give up Strength of Soul, which is like 10-20% of your total
Strength
healing.
of Souls. Nasty.
Yeah,
We've already talked about that, but one of the things we have to look at this. This is such an incredible way for this to go down. It's going to be on Tiger's Peak. Yep, Amni going to be on that resto, and we are going to get to see both Logan and Evangeline on the two classes that they are known for. That's definitely exciting, and now ABC going to do it with this composition. Definitely not the composition we expected them to be pulling these wins on. So exciting all around here. But Zico, how is this one going to play out? What do we actually expect to see with Amni now switching to that Resto Shaman?
I think the Resto Shaman is going to be way better in this particular matchup, and I actually wonder if Amne is going to be playing Spirit Link talent.
Yeah, I was
because
wondering too.
He could play Spirit Link talent and just kind of run at them and purge a lot. They can even go on the Discipline Priest and do that strategy, so it's something we've seen before. But the main thing about the Resto Shaman is that every time a setup is coming, you have the Earth Shield Totem, you have the Earth Shield as well to kind of negate a lot of that pressure that's going to come before you get crowd control. So we're going to have to see the Shaman kind of preemptively use his cooldowns and predict a lot of bad situations. And yeah, it's a good matchup mana-wise as well for Shaman.
Exactly. Now, Super Tees, if they do actually go in, how exactly is that Spirit Link talent going to play out?
It's kind of cheesy. It's a cheesy talent, and this one you play as a Shaman, usually healing a Death Knight and a Windwalker, and Death Knight Windwalkers have way more self-healing defensives than a Hunter and a Ret, so Spirit Link could backfire in that sense. I don't think he'll actually play it. It's really cheesy. But it basically redistributes the damage one person takes to the entire team and splits it up so it's less damage over 3 different people, and it lets you play aggressive, so you can spend more globals purging because your team is dying slower, but your whole team will be dying, and if the Hunter plays Sidewinders or decides to cleave, they can take advantage of that quite easily. They'll stack up for Triple Fear, so I think Spirit Link would actually be a bad idea at the end of the day, but with Earthen Shield and Earth Shield as more readily available cooldowns as a healer, rather the Priest with the long cooldowns like Barrier, right? It's a very long time before you can use it again. Pain Suppression is a very long time before you can use it again. On Shaman, he can rotate those in more often, but he has to preempt crowd control. He can't use the Earth Shield when he's CC'd, and he can't use Earthen Shield Totem when he's CC'd. So Amni needs to be on the ball, and on the tournament stage with match point on the line here, can he keep it up? Can he handle that pressure?
Yeah, we're going to have to see. You can already see on your screen, this has been a team to bring a whole wide variety of compositions in this tournament in particular, and now we are going to see that new one from them. They've been doing it so much in this series. It's really exciting to see that. And we'll have to see how aggressive on the other end Sneaky Snakes will be able to get with this healer, with this Resto Shaman.
I wonder like what Foxy is thinking. They came off the back of 2 wins and now he's kind of stuck in the back seat there. He's taking the headset off and his team basically has to take this. It must be a pretty tough position to be in. Whereas ABC, Alex probably just smiling like, keep doing it, team, keep doing it. You got this team. So definitely going to be a bit of a heartbreaker here as we move into game 5.
Yeah, because he did so good in the first round, like on the Grand. You know, that was a great job. You know, Farrell's really shining right now, and
well, let's see. This is going to be the last game of the series. We're going to kick it off. Is it going to be EU or NA?
All right.
Ooh, here we go. All in.
Do you think he spec that outside of Arena, or he actually intends to Dark Archangel kill the Shaman?
I think he's going to do it. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see. He's got 5 seconds.
5 seconds to reconsider Asgaroth. It's match point. Are you going to
boy.
go all in?
They are.
He's going to go all in. Dark Archangel.
This is the way to end. Oh, no, just kidding.
JK. He's teasing us, man. My name is Super Tease, not yours. Don't do that. That's not fair. Nixie's in stealth. No flare is going to find him. He's going to go across the map. But Amni surely has combat from the Hunter pet already. So Nixie's going to have to start off with some double stuns. They bursting shot Avenge. Trinket Sanctuary again instantly. But he's not a priest. He can't death. He actually put Earth Shield on himself. Now caught into a full blind. Does he Trinket? Yes. I think Trinket on the blind is a smart move. Switches the Earth Shield back over onto SSDS. Nixie has kind of been baited over. But Avenge is somehow across the universe. He's trying to get back to attack Nixie, and I think they're going to attack the Rogue instead. They know Kara is too elusive. They're going to go after the Rogue. Bursting shot has been landed, but Kara bursting shots SSDS. SSDS Trinket's a bursting shot. Now he's an open target. But he's an open target now.
Yep.
Asgaroth gets stunned. Amni gets stunned, though. It looks like they're going to do a healer swap. Avenge should be able to easily off-heal him or protect him. It seems like he's tanking through this just fine. He's got a healing stream totem down. That's going to reduce damage. He switches Earth Shield over. With Ascendance popped, I imagine he's going to recover. There's no more stuns. The swap was affected. They got Ascendance, but now I would like to see them punish SSDS with a smoke bomb. He used his Trinket to get a trap. He played aggressive. If he goes in the middle of the map, he's far away right now. They definitely could catch him. They go for the stun, but they don't smoke bomb. Yeah, I really thought that could have been an opportunity there.
Right. I'm surprised they're not capitalizing on this. They could force a turtle if they would have gone with smoke bomb, but that is a long cooldown. Also, Kara just cleaving into Avenge and SSDS at this point. You know, he's looking for those crowd control moments that he can land on Amni. Step kick. Amni gets Sanctuaried out of it. So Kara's still going to be tossed into damage, and there you see he has to Trinket
to the
Hex. Yeah, just to stay offensive.
You can't really punish it as the Rep Paladin team. There's no stuns or smoke bombs, obviously, because you're not a rogue. So Kara, I think that was the right move to Trinket to keep the pressure going. Asgaroth, in the meantime, caught into a stun, into a bursting shot. Nixie peels away with a cheap shot. Smoke bomb stuns the Trinket. Nice play there from Nixie, holding SSDS down, but now the Exhilaration heals him back up above half. He's still out in the open, and Kara is letting it rip. Aspect of the turtle has been forced. Asgaroth is moving in for the killing blow with that crowd control. Fear has been landed. They switch their attention to Avenge. Avenge Trinket's out. I mean, nobody can touch Kara. He's just the untouchable Hunter. Avenge is just trying to chase him down, mounts up onto the pony, chasing him, but he gets Wyvern stinged. It unfortunately breaks. That was maybe a bit of a miscommunication. Nixie broke that. Now Evangeline is waddling his way over. Asgaroth into the full trap, but no damage. They can't touch Kara.
I know, Kara's just doing such a great job kiting, but he's taking a bunch of damage. There's the wings, but he's going to get knocked back. Evangeline's still not touching him. Kara
bursting. Trinket's the bursting, man. Evangeline YOLO Trinkets all the time.
Absolute full trap. That does get dispelled. His wings are still up now, not playing Crusade this time around. So he's going to have those random moments where he's going to burst a lot harder.
Full trap. Asgaroth Trinkets. It's an overlap, though. Pain Suppression and Trinket in that attempt. That's going to leave an opening. Kara's last line of the defense will be his own aspect of the turtle. A Hex landed, and Turtle's on 2%.
That
barely
was so
stays
close.
alive. Close call. Nice Hex from Amni. I would like to see maybe his Hexes go on the Rogues to stop these setups, but that Hex definitely secured the turtle there. Avenge getting Wyvern Stinged, and Kara's been using that Wyvern Sting on Avenge and the off DPS in this entire series to slow down pressure and get away. I like that. He uses Wyvern Sting to create space for himself. It's not really worth the extra 2 seconds on the healer. In the meantime, though, I think ABC are against the wall. They really have nothing left. They're facing a team with Divine Shield, Blessing of Protection. Avenge can protect SSDS if Amni gets CC'd, and Amni can save SSDS if Avenge gets CC'd. So this would definitely be Seeky Snake's game to throw as they initiate the final assault. Kara is trying to retreat. The untouchable Hunter, will he be touched? Avenge gets trapped. Amni dispels it, and Kara is down to half. Asgaroth life grips Kara away. Avenge is just sighing right now. /Sigh wants to get over there, but he's going to attack the rogue, and I think that's what they need to do more often. Just switch to the rogue,
Yeah, I don't
attack the
understand
rogue
why
while
he's
you're
not
walking.
just hitting him. Yeah, I know, and there he has to use eye for an eye right there, you know, having a little bit of damage reduction as Nixie's going to go over and peel. For Kara, looks like they're going to retreat a little bit because Asgaroth
These Wyvern
does have
Stings,
the... Yep, the Wyvern
perfect
Stings are
on the
great.
freedom. He just denies all the mobility of the rat. But Nixie just got crushed. I don't know what just happened to Nixie. I guess SSDS decided to just type /delete. Nixie's so low, a full hex landed. Nixie's basically got nothing with evasion ticking down. Avenge gets feared away in desperation. Asgaroth gets interrupted on the Shadow Man, gets hodged on the Penance. If they can secure a trap here onto Amni, Nixie will surely go down. SSDS moves in. I guess trap is not available, or he's baiting the premonition. Nixie is still just so low HP. SSDS goes for the bursting. He premonitioned that, I believe, but lands the trap anyway, and Kara is low. Everybody is dying, and Sneaky Snakes are looking to close this as Kara goes down. Sneaky Snakes will advance in through the group stage, avoiding elimination.
NA has done it, and we are going to see them celebrate right now. Sneaky Snakes, I mean, you're seeing Logan on that top portion of your screen, SSDS. He was joking behind stage saying that they were going to get 3-0'd, and now they come out, look absolutely insane. Really exciting to see them do it.
We had it the whole time.
Especially on their that comp, though.
Yeah.
It is great to get to see them do it on that competition. But ABC, I'm absolutely blown away that this is such a strong team, and to go down in their first series of the day. Zigo, what exactly enabled Sneaky Snakes to pick up that victory?
So Sneaky Snakes did some really good things, but the key moment in my eyes was the moment where they overlapped the Trinket Pain Suppression from Asgaroth, and then Amni sneaks in the Hex, and then Kara is trying to hold on to his turtle because he realizes my previous use Trinket and Pain Suppression. If I use turtle here as well, it's going to be really bad. But he ends up having to use it as well, and that was really the turning point in my eyes that made Sneaky Snakes just get a huge lead in this match.
Subatees, how important was actually bringing the Shaman this time around?
I mean, Earth Shield seemed to do its job there, and just Earthen Shield Totem more available. Healing Stream Totem. The other thing is Shaman heals while it's CC'd. Earth Shield ticks if they crit them hard enough and it heals them. Healing Stream is healing him. He's just doing more healing. He has more cooldowns in this specific matchup, and it's way better than the Priest, obviously. And he performed well on the tournament stage, considering he thought his Shaman was his worst healer at the North American Regionals. He didn't even play it. They didn't want him to play it. It was like, wait, you want to play your Shaman? No, Emily, you're not playing your Shaman. But there on that game right there, he played really well, and his team looked safe for almost the entire game. So well done. He definitely improved that a lot.
Yeah, and let's take a closer look at that right now and actually see how Sneaky Snakes, the team from North America, was able to close out this series.
So in this is right in the opener. What Nixie wants to do here is he kidneys Amni to get the Sanctuary, immediately goes off after he switches the Earth Shield, blinds him on the Earth Shield, and stuns up SSDS. Now they get the Sanctuary out of the way, as well as Amni's Trinket. Later on the next replay that I'm going to show you, we actually see them abuse this in the wrong way. So here, no Trinket and no Sanctuary available. What do? Instead of stunning up Amni, trapping him, they trap up SSDS and go on Amni. The reason why this is a bad strategy is because Amni's playing with a Red Paladin, Amni's playing with a Hunter. So first of all, he gets a lot of buffs from those two classes, and then in addition to that, you can't really kill a Shaman with a MM Hunter on your team because the burst isn't as good as, let's say, a Frost Mage or something like that. So bad strategy right there. And then this was also a key moment in the game. Asgaroth trapped up, Amni trapped up, and what they do here is so critical. Nixie, he realizes I need to extend the CC duration onto Amni for Asgaroth to be able to do something. So he vanishes right there, saps off the trap, Asgaroth casting that penance while he's moving, drops the fear to follow that up, and then here SSDS is in a world of troubles. But he's off stun there, he's used his turtle, so they end up going on Avenge, getting another Trinket out of the way. So the way they're switching back and forth here on ABC is so good. But at the end of the day, that overlap that they did earlier just costed them, and they were just too behind to recover from that.
It was absolutely huge, and ultimately Sneaky Snakes have been able to take this one. And I have the distinct pleasure, if you've never gotten a chance to meet SSDS, buckle up because you're in for a treat. He is on the floor right now with Bajira.
Thanks so much, Rich. We are indeed standing by with Sneaky Snakes SSDS, fresh off of probably what was one of the most exciting series we've seen so far today. You are obviously feeling good. And a question I have for you is, your team, and you especially, seem very confident, even if you aren't usually favored in these matchups. Where does that confidence come from?
Our confidence comes from us just we know what our comps be, and we're very set on what we can be, and we know what we can do. We're very versatile, and we can just always adapt to every situation. It's like in the third game, you know, Thugcleave's usually a hard comp for jungle, but we knew we could win, and we figured out how to play against marksman very quickly.
Awesome. And sort of going off of that, you guys are often referred to as the underdog team, or at least maybe you've even referred yourself or to yourself as the underdogs before. Is that a title that you enjoy, or is that something that you resent? Does it motivate you?
I think our team enjoys it because it gives people, people don't expect it, and we know we can catch people off guard. But I personally resent it because it feels like kind of like a disrespect to me, thinking that like I don't deserve to be here or anything.
Well, you guys have definitely shown that you deserve to be here. And in one of the interviews that we had before, you guys mentioned that you're pretty much just here to play for fun, right? But you guys keep winning. And how is that strategy of just playing for fun going to work out when you guys find yourself in the finals or something like that?
I think it's going to work pretty well. I'm just here to have fun, you know. Didn't really expect it to even make it to regionals. We kind of banked on not enough teams qualifying, like playing at all. And then regionals, we didn't really expect to win. We were just like, let's have fun, let's throw it. And now we're here. We're in the winner's side of going into BlizzCon.
Yeah, well, by all means, keep having fun because it's working for you, and definitely looking forward to see you continuing to succeed in this tournament. We're going to go ahead and throw it back to the desk and keep these matches rolling.
Yeah, well, Bajira, I'm pretty sure it would be pretty fun to win BlizzCon, too. So if that's your goal, we'll have to see if they can have the most fun time. We'll definitely see more from Sneaky Snakes in a little bit, as they have mentioned. They will be headed all the way to the Anaheim Convention Center when we actually kick off the party at BlizzCon proper.